Good morning, everybody. I am Chris with Discover You Podcast. I wanted to start this podcast to help other people who may be going through things, whether it be fitness, finance, health, nutrition, what have you. We all go through things in life, and I just wanted to jump on here and help other people who may be going through stuff. Here with me today, I have Dom. He was my personal trainer at LA Fitness about 4 years ago. And he really helped me out on my health and fitness journey. He does personal training, but he also does meal plans as well. And so when I was away for a year on business, he actually helped me with workout plans and meal plans, and I used that, and I really got in really good shape. And obviously COVID-19 kind of destroyed my goals, but I'm back on track. And I wanted to introduce you guys to Dom. He's come a long way. It's really impressive, some of the stuff he's done. I don't want to get too much into it. I'd rather him share his story and what his struggles and things like that were. So without further ado, here's Dom.
All right, cool. What's going on, guys? My name is Dominic Acuna. I'm a personal trainer here in San Antonio, Texas. And I've been doing that for about 7 years or so. And during that time, that's when I met Chris. It was around the time I was working at LA Fitness, and we just sort of built a friendship throughout me training him throughout the time that I did, and which brings us to today, and him seeing me over the years progress in my business through social media, because he was away for a while with work, and so that leads us to where we are today.
So Dom, what have you been up to for the last 4 years? You know, it's been a while, and I obviously see your growth physically, but also spiritually and emotionally as well. You're very intelligent, super smart. So
I appreciate that, man.
What else you been up to?
Yeah, so I guess 4 years ago I was LA Fitness, right? So after LA Fitness, sort of around the time that you left and you got deployed, I started discussing plans of a gym, or I guess a local gym that a friend of mine was going to open up, and it was that going into that was meaning that I was going to have to be known as an independent trainer, so meaning that I was going to pretty much be my own business when it comes to that, because essentially, like, I was my own business whenever we were at LA Fitness, but I had LA Fitness behind my back. They were able to feed me clients and give me business, and I mean that's how they linked me up with you. But going independent meant that I was going to have to do everything myself, as far as getting leads, securing the leads, and, generating my own business. So that was going to be different, but it was definitely something that my peers were doing around me, and they were getting into the fitness industry. They were growing. Meanwhile, they were growing. I was still in college, so I wasn't able to do all the things they were doing. So they were like, all on social media, meeting all these people in the fitness industry, and I was just going to class, having to do schoolwork, not being able to network on the weekends or really any time, because I was always studying, and I was training, and sometimes throughout the time of me training, I had another job to really make sure I was able to pay my bills and things. And but around the time that this gym was going to open up, the semester was coming to an end, and I really had to make a decision, because the only way I was going to jump into this venture of going off of my own and becoming independent was I was going to have to put school on hold for a while and really focus on building my business, being that it was going to be all on me. So I made the decision to follow through with becoming an independent trainer and putting school on hold for a bit. And I jumped into it, and that was December of 2019. But the transition wasn't that easy. So putting LA Fitness on hold, or transitioning from LA Fitness to the small boutique gym I was about to start training at, was definitely rough, because people were on contracts, and so I pretty much trained them till their contracts were over, and I said, we're gonna have a gym to train at on this date, which was around November or so, and the date that they told me the gym was going to be open was somewhere around November. I would say the beginning of November, but it wasn't ready in time. And I had already ran through the contracts with my people at LA Fitness, and they were still going to continue with me, but obviously I couldn't train them inside LA Fitness. So I needed a spot to train, and the gym wasn't ready yet. And at that point, I was only training. I didn't have another job at the time. And so a friend of mine that was going to go train at that gym as well, he actually, the same situation happened to him. Or at that point, he was already training in his garage, and he said, well, look, man, you can come train your clients in my garage until we go to the spot. And then I was like, okay, for sure. So I went from training LA Fitness, people air-conditioned gym, into someone else's garage. And I had gym equipment of my own, but the area where I was living was not suitable to bring clients in. It was not in a very good neighborhood. So I didn't want to bring him in there. So we decided to train him at his in his neighborhood, which was a bit nicer. So I decided to do that. And then around December is when the gym opened up. But it was definitely interesting, going from LA Fitness to a garage, because I was having to get creative at that point. And I really had to figure out ways to keep my clients engaged, interested in my training, and wanting to keep on coming back. Right. Because at that point I had no business structure. I just was hoping they were going to continue to return and keep on coming back every month. But yeah, so was training in the garage, took some clients from LA Fitness over there, also gained some new clients. Then when we went into the new spot, that's when everything started looking good. That was around towards the end of December of 2019, and then January, everything was great. The gym was dope. It was a good setup. A lot of people wanted to go check it out because of the way it was just different. It had like blue lights, and it had a nice young, cool vibe to it, and people wanted to go there and also train with me, because I was really promoting myself by that time. I was getting into understanding Instagram a lot more, and posting a lot more about my clients, and people were just wanting to work with me. So business was doing good. It was growing. And then COVID happened. So that's when everything, it was just like, fuck, I went independent. But at that time I did have a job. It was at a supplement shop. And so I was working there, and but I wasn't working there full time. I was just working there part time. So it wasn't in the cutoff to where I was able to get paid during my time during the lockdown. I wasn't able to get supplemented pay or anything like that. So I was out of training. I couldn't train inside the gym because that's when the lockdown happened and people couldn't be in the gym. The supplement shop wasn't able to supplement my income. So I was like, fuck. But so actually one of my clients at the time had a business, and it was building pools in the backyard. It was the correct term of what he did was where they laid tile. I don't know the correct term. There's actually
masonry.
Yeah, masonry work. And me, obviously, I don't know the name. I've never done any work like that in my life. I've never done any form of construction. I've never done any manual labor. I guess the hardest job I had was, technically Bill Miller's, is really fast paced and, in the kitchen, working long hours, but that was about it. Nothing too crazy. But definitely, being on the rise of starting my own business, just having being around gym goers and people working out and having all that good energy from going from that to just working outside in the heat, and you have one or two other crew members, it's a different feel. It's a different
whole different atmosphere.
Yeah, a whole different atmosphere. And I didn't like it. I just it was after doing that, I do have a lot of respect for people who work outside and they are in the construction business, or they're just doing manual labor like that, because it's definitely hard, and it's the same thing over and over. You just wake up, go get some breakfast tacos in the morning, you be on your way to work, and you're at your spot, and then you're there all day, you know. And then when it's time to leave, I mean, the crew that I was with, you know, they would get a beer at the local gas station before they went home, and then sometimes they would just like kind of like talk and stuff like that. I was like, I just want to go home, man, like, you know. And they were my ride. So but either way, like it just, I didn't like it, you know. Also, like the toxic environment, like with them just talking shit all day, like whether it was to me, to each other, like I wasn't appreciative of the energy that I was around. And it was pretty decent money, you know, per day, you know, that I was making. But it just, from knowing the amount of work that I put in school, knowing the amount of connections I built outside, like in the fitness industry, it was not where I wanted to be. Right. So I said, there was a room in the back of my mom's house that I made into a studio, like a training studio. I had fitness equipment. I had already had my fitness equipment. And, you know, I fixed it up real nice. I painted it. I was in a relationship at the time, so she was still employed at her job. She was working in the food industry, so she still was working her hours. And but in the evening time, she was available, and so was I. So we fixed up the room, and I started training clients in there. I hit up the people that were like, because throughout that time, there's people still training, you know, here and there. And people were hitting me up, and I said, yeah, man, I actually like built a studio. You want to come through? And then so I was able to train people at that time. That's awesome. During the lockdown. And surprisingly, I was able to really stay afloat with that. And but in order to do that, like I had to tell the guy that I was working with, I was like, hey man, I'm not going to be able to continue working with you. I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm going to just focus on this for right now. And it was good. And I gave him a notice in advance and everything like that. And it was all good. But I went ahead and focused on that, and I stayed doing that. And then I couldn't promote it though. I was just able to really hit up people, and I couldn't like post stories. I couldn't do anything, you know? Right. But then the mandate got lifted, and then we returned back to the gym. That's fast forwarding everything. And then still in the relationship, everything was going good. I was still able to build my business. All that was happening. And then kind of towards the end of that year, I was really doing well, and had a lot of clients. And actually my girlfriend at the time started training. And she was doing it like on the side, like from where she was working in the food industry to doing it like, I guess, part-time and whenever she was off. And, you know, I was able to mentor her and, you know, teach her like how to build her business and stuff like that, and the approaches to have and to not make the same mistakes that I did. So, and also she, you know, she had her own way with people, you know, she had her own personality, her own characteristics, and it was really cool to see her apply that to her business and grow it. So she did that, and then you know, that was towards the end of that year. And then how do I transition into this? But so we sort of had a falling out with that gym, you know, some personal issues, you know, and kind of really I guess rocked me and my girlfriend's relationship at that time, and kind of put us through some things and tested us, and you know, we got through it. But you know, after that, everything had changed with the relationship with the people at the gym. So it kind of got toxic real quick, and we became like management at that gym. So aside from me training people, we were also like meeting every day on like how to grow the gym, how to build it. It was already doing good, but like we wanted to continue to build it, you know, and grow it. And that just took majority of our day. We were working all day. We worked on Easter. We didn't see our family, like just stuff like that, you know. And
so you guys really just lost focus on each other, if you will.
Yeah, we lost focus
so much on the
gym. We lost focus on each other. She quit her job, and she was getting paid with her clients, and you know, there were some issues with that, with her not getting paid in some areas, but it just really messed with us, you know. And we eventually had a falling out with that gym, and it was so much of a fallout where like we had people to train. It was on a Monday. It was on a Sunday, and we had people to train on Monday, of course. And we didn't have a spot to train at, you know. But throughout that time, it was after the winter storm. So quarantine happened, winter storm happened here in San Antonio, and we had found a gym that was still training or still had their doors open to the public during that time, and we had developed a relationship with him, and I had discussed training there at one point. He kind of gave me the breakdown. And then I just hit him up. I was like, look, man, I need a spot to train right now. I just had a falling out with the gym, blah, blah, blah. I told him the situation. And then he was just like, yeah, come through, blah, blah, blah. And it was cool. Like, they had all the equipment necessary needed. But me and the owner didn't mesh. And it was like my girlfriend also didn't mesh with him either. It was just a bit of an older gentleman, like really set in his ways. And you know, it just wasn't home. You know, it wasn't somewhere where we felt like where we needed to be.
Right.
And but it was a spot temporarily for us to train. But you know, when you think about it, in terms of business, you have your clientele, you have your clients that are just coming to you, and then you go into a new spot, and it's just like, okay, we're moving. People like consistency. People like to stay in one spot. They don't like to be things to be changing. You know, they develop a routine. They're driving routes, everything like that. So it wasn't that far from the place I was at originally, but it was just change, you know. And then so I was like, man, I just wasn't happy. Me and my girlfriend weren't happy. We're not in our relationship at the time. At that time, we had sort of like we were just working at our relationship, bettering it, and we just knew that we had to get out of that spot. And I actually hit up one of my old friends like that I knew, because I knew people around local gyms. I knew other gyms that I could potentially go to, but I just didn't want to get myself. I wanted something new. I wanted something to be. I wanted to set myself apart from a lot of the other local trainers that were surrounded by me at that time. So I said, you know, and at that time we wanted to do boot camp classes, right? And I was like, where can I do that? I didn't want to do them outside. But so I hit up a friend of mine that I had met during the time I was working at LA Fitness. I don't know if it was around the time that I was working with you, but I was working at Wingstop also. So like I was working at Wingstop, and I was building up my clientele at LA Fitness. And then there's actually a restaurant next door named Genghis Grill, and the manager of that place was actually a boxing coach, and that was Arturo that trained here at Davies, and he told me about it. He's like, you need to come check it out.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I hit him up, and this was like 2 or 3 years later, and I just hit him up. I don't know what made me think of him, and he just sent me the address, and then he told me to come. He told me the name of it. I couldn't find it on Google or whatever. I was just like, man, it's probably some hole in the wall gym. And then at that point, we were at our lowest. Like, I had just because things were going so well at the gym, that first initial gym that we were at, that I invested money into my brand. I started building Dedicated and Fearless, and I had made a whole big purchase on some clothes, and we were like, we're barely making it, you know. And so like when I hit up Arturo, like we came to, and we met up with him here. Like we almost looked homeless, like, you know, like we were not homeless, but like we were like, I didn't have a haircut, you know. I was all like, my girlfriend's hair at the time was like all crazy, and we walk into this place. He comes like with arms wide open. He's like, hey, what's up, man? How are you? How you doing? Like, come on in, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Shows us the lobby, and we're like, whoa, what the hell? Yeah. And he had told me a little bit of some background. He was kind of like walking me through it, and he was just like, look, man, we're gonna walk in there. You're gonna see some people. You're gonna see like just some well-off people, and you're gonna want to put yourself in front of these people. And never heard their names before, the people he was discussing. And then he was like, I'm gonna introduce you, man, to these people. And then after this, we're gonna sit down with the GM. We're gonna talk about setting you up here or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I had just hit him up. I was just like, look, man, I just want to go see the spot to see if it's somewhere I can do some boot camps, you know? And then so whatever. So he takes me through the tour of the gym, and here we are, like just these fucking 2 trainers that just go in there looking a hot mess. And there's like, it's like a movie, like, you know, like something you see in like Creed or like some sort of like crazy boxing movie where like there's these people fucking killing in their workouts. You have like just going hard and like high energy, good music. And the gym is packed, it's flowing, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah. Like, who are these people? Like, you know, never seen anything like it. And he's giving us his tour, and he introduces me, and then he tries to like introduce me to like this person, and then one of these people, and then what's it called? I introduced myself, blah blah blah, like just normal person, and I was like, who is that man? He's like, man, he's like, that's a fucking owner, man. That's the guy who owns this whole place. He was just like, you need to be a little bit more excited, man. Yeah. And I was just like, I didn't know what was going on, you know. I didn't. But anyway, I wasn't like disrespectful or anything. It was just like, you know, just
a little awkward.
Every other person, you know, like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. My name, whatever. But yeah, that's how it had happened here, and what do you call it? We sat down with the GM after the whole tour. Oh, but like, I guess during the tour, like, you know, they had the gym. They had one whole gym, and then they have another side. They have one gym. It's called the amateur side, and then they have the pro side. That's where like the pro boxers train. And then they have a whole studio, like recording studio upstairs. Because essentially, like, there's Davies Boxing and Fitness, but there's also Davies Entertainment. So they have their own entertainment company, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
With this entertainment business, they're able to like sponsor like professional boxers. They're able to sponsor like rappers, artists, musicians, stuff like that. And they actually have events here, and they do boxing matches and everything. Because they also added an event center on top of the 2 gyms that they have, which is insane, you know. And I just stumbled across like this place, and it really changed up everything. But, you know, also I was thinking, going back to like, after we sat down with the GM, it was pretty much I had to pitch myself, and I was just like, I was not ready for that. I did not have any intention on doing so. So like I just told them what I wanted, but I was not prepared for that, you know. And although I pitched them, and, you know, like even without me having to pitch them, they wanted me there. They wanted us to train there. They wanted us to be actual trainers here. And but going back to us moving from that initial gym to the gym we found during the winter storm, I was like, I really have to be sold in order to bring my people over here now, because we went boom, boom, boom. I don't like jumping around. I don't want to make people having to do that.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not really like superstitious or whatever, but it's crazy because, like, you know, I was gifted a bracelet. It was like an evil eye bracelet, right?
Yeah.
And it was like with beads and stuff like that, and it was pretty nice. So I was wearing it a lot. Like I would wear it like all the time. And then after the meeting with the GM, like we walk back to the car and we get in there, and then the bracelet just like busts, like it just breaks.
Oh wow.
And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what's going on? And then I was just like, because all the beads were everywhere, I was like, oh man, whatever. But then like I researched it, you know, I looked into it because this is kind of strange, you know. Mm-hmm. And then it was pretty much saying like that whatever evil energy or bad energy people had towards me at that time, or whatever was holding me down or holding me back, was lifted, you know. And
that's awesome.
I was just like, this is crazy, you know, whatever. Yeah. And then but of course I just continued to think about it. I think we took about like a couple more weeks to really settle everything and really make a final decision that we were going to follow through with this, you know, coming here. So we did that, and it was like, when I say like, you know, or whenever they say business has its ups and downs, like, it has its ups and downs.
Yes,
you
for
know.
sure.
So like initially everything was going good at the first place. I was building it. I was growing. I was really networking with people, and you know, it was going good. But then we had the fallout, and then everything just went downhill, and it was just like, fuck, man. Like I don't know what's going on. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this, right? And then what do you call it? And then fast forward to like, you know, accepting the offer at this gym. We're still having to rebuild. We're still having to grow, and we're still having to develop new connections. Having an appreciation for the gym we were at was something that was having to be developed at that time as well. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, aside, like, one of the things you probably noticed walking in here was there's no AC. Right. It's a boxing gym, yes. And it's something that you have to understand quickly, is that this is a boxing facility. Boxers don't need AC. They're trying to cut weight all the time.
Right. Correct.
And, you know, I saw the people training in here going hard. I'm just like, fuck, man, there's no AC. My clients they're more high profile. Like they're not going to want to be in a place with no AC. I'm just like, how the fuck am I going to be able to, you know,
to do this,
charge them this rate or whatever? And then like, there's not an AC, you know. I'm just like, that's just one of the main things, especially with already working with some high profile people and knowing how they are, knowing their tendencies and stuff like that. But anyway, so really appreciating the spot that I was in had to be developed, you know, in that aspect. But other than that, you know, I was just like, I have this huge space. I have all these resources here. I was just like, if I don't do something massive, or if I don't do something huge, then I'm a piece of shit. You know, if I can't make it happen, then I don't have what it takes. You know, if I don't utilize every single resource around me, then this is not for me. I need to fucking give this up, you know? Mm-hmm. And, I mean, you can tell yourself that and you can't automatically learn it, but I that's when I got to like the grind and starting to learn everything, you know. At that point, I had already developed a knowledge for photography and videography, to the sense of knowing that it was needed to grow my business, knowing that it was needed to give a presence like on the internet, you know. Right. Essentially, like, you know, when you're just starting, you got to do whatever it takes. If you don't have a professional camera like I did, like, you know, I was making videos off like a broken screen of an iPhone that was gifted to me because someone felt sorry for me because I didn't have like the cool feature of like the newest iPhone of like the widescreen. Mm-hmm. He just gave it to me. He was like, here, man, here's a phone, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I was able to, and it had a better camera quality too than the iPhone I had at the time. And so I was making videos off that, learning professional programs off that, you know, the mobile versions. And then I invested in a camera, and I was like, cool, I got the camera. I was just like, but why aren't the pictures coming out the way like professional photographers were taking to me? I was like, what am I doing wrong? I have the professional programs, I have the camera, I need a lens. That's what I figured out. I needed to get a lens, right? So here's the $1,600 camera that I just got. Now I need to get a $900 lens. Okay, fuck.
Yeah.
Now I need to wait. I got the camera. I told these people I was gonna be able to take pictures and or like videos, like, you know, for my business, blah blah blah. And then like now I gotta wait till I save up enough money to get a lens. So I saved up enough money, got the lens, and started learning it. And what do you call it? Just got better at it, you know. And so that's one trade I learned. And, you know, really learning how to use like the professional software that previously I would see it like on other people's computers, like actual photographers and videographers. And I'd be like, man, I don't got time for that. I don't got time to learn that. Right. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Yeah. There's too many shit. Yeah. Like I don't want to. Yeah. Too many buttons, features. Like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm just like, that's just where I got to hire somebody to do it. And then this is like, you look into hiring people to do it, and it's just like, fuck, that's a lot of money. Yes. You know? So it's just like, how bad do I want this? How bad do I want to get there? Right? So now I have the equipment. Now I got to learn the softwares. So I learned the softwares, and then on top of everything, you know, I'm training my clients. I'm keeping them happy. I'm also, you know, helping my girlfriend at the time, you know, with whatever issues she has to make sure she doesn't make the same mistakes that I did.
Right.
You know, helping her do her paperwork, her legal work, stuff like that. And meanwhile, making sure my shit's good. You know, it's just a lot at that time. That is a lot. And yeah, man. So one of the things that I learned throughout all of this, as far as having my own business is, you know, you hear it all the time, like there's so many roles you play, but like there's so many roles that you play.
Yes.
And when you want to be like the best at something, you got to be the best at that role that you're doing.
Correct.
You know, like I can't just say I know this stuff. Like I know how to do the camera work. I know how to do the softwares and then not look good.
Right.
Like then what's the point?
Correct.
Then just do it on an iPhone, you know? So I got to make it look good. If I'm going to train a client, I got to give them the best fucking training session they ever had in their life.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's at 5 a.m., whether it's at fucking 9 p.m. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter the time of day. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the day, the hottest time of the day. They're going to have the best service.
Right.
Regardless of the time or the day that I'm having.
Yeah.
Regardless if me and, well, we're not together anymore, but regardless of me and my girlfriend at the time were together, we're fighting, or something was going on in family, you know, someone was in the hospital, I had a car wreck, whatever the case is, I had to show up.
You got to be present daily.
They don't, like, and it's not nothing taken, whether they do care about you as an individual or not, they're paying you for a service.
Right. You
know, and they don't give a shit what you're going through. People have their own problems to worry about.
Correct.
You know? So I just really had to go in on everything, you know? Whether it was in front of a camera, whether it's in front of a class, whether it's in front of a client, whether it's, you know, doing the computer paperwork behind my business, you know, setting up my business on Google, doing the scheduling system that I have, you know, putting people in the system to charge the payments, like all these, like this tech stuff, all this personable stuff, all this video software, like everything comes into play when building a business. And it's just something that I learned along the way. It's just that I had to be the best at what I do, you know, and that's and the best version of myself. Right. I'm not really necessarily trying to be better than anybody else. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself, to really put my name out there and to put my business out there. So
can I ask you, so I know I looked at your Instagram, by the way, it's Dominic Acuna Fitness, correct? And so I was looking at your Instagram, and you have some old pictures of yourself before you started training and getting into fitness. And so what was your why? What motivated you? What inspired you? What made you want to become this individual, Dominic, or Dom, of wanting to start this fitness goal and get in shape and get swole, if you will? I mean, you're big, dude.
Yeah,
and, what inspired you? You know, what got you going?
Well, of course, like, I mean, there's two answers to that, really, but, you know, of course there was the want to do what I do, right? There's always, if you want to be a police officer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be whatever thing you want to do in this world, you got to want to do it, right? It has to be something that interests you. And initially when I first set out to do training, to do that, it was when I had torn my rectus femoris, which is the quad muscle on my quad. I had tore it playing soccer. I was at a physical therapist, and he was trying to, like, well, he was rehabbing me, of course, but, you know, that's initially why I went to school, because he said, why don't you just become a physical therapist, right? And then do what makes you happy. He was happy. It seemed like he enjoyed his job a lot, and I said, man, I want to be happy with what I do. And I want to be able to help people. And he kind of told me, like, you know, why don't you try this? And so that's why I was going to school. But then, you know, school in itself, I have a whole different view on that, you know. But for my situation, my setup, it just wasn't aligning with where I currently was. And I wanted to still be in the health and wellness area of things. And at the time I was working out, and I developed a good physique. And that was back in 2014. So I decided to just be a personal trainer. That's not when I made the full decision to just do that. I wanted to do that part-time whenever I went to college. But it was like the other option. Whenever I quit college, I was like, that when I told you I went independent, I decided to follow through with that. But as far as, you know, building my physique goes, you know, I applied to business too, you know. I mean, here and there, like with friends and stuff, but like I really pushed myself to work out with people who were bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me, everything. Because even growing up, and so like my mom had put me in sports when I was always the youngest one, and I was always surrounded with people who were like essentially better. And I always felt like I couldn't catch up, or I always felt like I wasn't like up to par with them, but it made me push harder. It made me, you know, just challenge myself a lot more. And, you know, working out with people who were bigger than me or that were stronger, like it really pushed me to be better and to be my absolute best self. And knowing that there was somebody out there better than me made me go even harder. You know, one of the things about motivation, you know, is just like the reason, like the fact that I'm not where I need to be is enough motivation for me to just to work hard, to challenge myself. You know, that's just where it is, because, you know, my background and where I come from, like, it's not like I wasn't like living in the slums or anything like that. I had a mother who loved me. I didn't have a father growing up, but knowing and seeing that my mother did everything that she could to give me the best life that she could was really enough to make me want to do more and be more, because I was surrounded with people who were more well off, and I was seeing my mother having to compete, not compete, but essentially like compete with other parents to try to like, you know, be able to send me off to like Six Flags, you know, paintballing, wherever the case is, like wherever they wanted to go. My friends that were more well off, you know, and she had to tell me at one point, she was like, you can't be doing all the things that they do. Not in a mean way, but just like in a motherly way. And, you know, I couldn't argue with that. I never made her feel like I was upset about it, you know, but she told me, she was like, you can't be doing all the stuff that they do just because of where we're at. And they have to understand that. And if they understand it, they're your friends.
Yeah.
And I respect that, but I wanted to be able to, aside from give myself more, give her more. So that's always been my why. That's always been my reason, that's you awesome. Know, behind everything. And I'm saying, like, noticing that people in the fitness industry, a lot of them get clients and have business because of how they look, not because of who they are as a person. True. And that's just the truth. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people get or build their business because of how they look, and which is not a problem. You know, they obviously worked hard for what they have, you know, their personal goals. But I said, if I want to be able to be up there with these people, if I want to be able to compete or be in the same arena as these trainers, these top influencers, I got to look the part. You know, I got to look like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Aside from just knowing what I know and knowing that I know for sure that this shit's going to work for my client or the person who's signing on with me, I got to look the part. If I don't look the part, what is the point? You know, I'm just going to go work for Gold's or I'm just going to go work for a commercial gym. So that's always been my why, is like initially starting back to like where I come from and knowing where I want to be. And if I want to be the best at what I do, then I have to go hard in the gym. I have to look my best. And that's not just for, I mean, it's for aesthetics and like stuff like that, but it's not like I wouldn't say it's so much of a selfish goal. 'Cause like, you know, to be honest, like I appreciate the compliments I get in the gym. Like, you know, people are like, oh, you look amazing, dude. Well, like I'm supposed to look like the way I look. I'm not supposed to look like shit. Right. You know, like, thank you, man. Like, but I'm like, I appreciate someone telling me I helped change their life. Like, that's what I appreciate more. I want to know how I can make your life better. Right. I want to help you realize that you can be absolutely anything you want in this world, because the fact that knowing where I come from and knowing the situation that I come from, and I'm to where I am now, like, if it's possible for me, it's possible for you. Right. You know, and I want people to know that. Because you know, what's crazy is like, you know, I worked with people that I grew up with. You know, they see me training and they see me changing people's lives and stuff like that. And then they come to see me. And, you know, they're in these areas of their life, some of them, and they're just so like, they're so down and out. They're so like, they hate their job, or they're depressed, or they don't have that confidence in themselves. And, at one point I used to look up to them. At one point I used to be like, man, how everybody likes them. Everybody's fucking with them. And I'm just like, damn, here I am. There's like a loser, you know? And it's just like, and now they're coming to me, and then they're doing this. And then a lot of them will say, easy for you to say, like you have the easiest job in the world, you know, or like, easy for you look like this. And I was just like, yeah, because I put in the work, right, you know, to do this. Right. Or they think that what I do is not possible for them, you know? And when I say like that, I don't just mean training. Like, you know, they can have their own business. They can be their own business lady or businessman. Like, they can be their own version of me, you know, because I've seen and surrounded myself with people who are on a much larger scale of what I do, you know, like in the whole business aspect, you know, like people who like are barbers who just built like, and who are building an empire. And like, you know, aside from being a barber, like they opened up a barber store, barber college, or like estheticians who opened up their own studios, people who are in real estate who just fucking have a whole fleet of real estate agents under them. Like, it's just crazy, you know, the amount of people that I've surrounded myself with, only because, you know, I push myself to be around people who are at the top, right? Because I'm able to learn from them, you know. But if you keep surrounding yourself with people who are just the same people you grew up with, or people who are small-minded, or, you know, you're just not
you're never going to achieve your goal.
Yeah, you're never going to achieve your goal, you know. But my main thing with people that I work with is letting them know they can do anything they want in this world. And I love working with people who are people that I went to school with, or people that I grew up with, or people who knew me back then, you know, because like I said, if I can do it, then they can do it. Right. And it's just, it doesn't matter how like how strong you are, how smart you are. Like, you know, if you look back to like the graduating class I graduated in, I wasn't at the top of my class, you know, but I wasn't at the top of my class, not because I wasn't smart, but because I didn't have the mentorship that a lot of these motherfuckers have. I didn't have like both parents in there. I didn't have anybody in my family that went to college. They didn't know how the education system worked. My mom just had enough trust in me that I was going to make the right decisions, you know, and which for the most part I did. But when it comes to school and academics, I didn't have direction, right? You know, and but anyway, so like I wasn't at the top of my class. You know, I went to a community college for a bit, then I went to university. But you know, I what's it called? But being that, like, it just shows like it doesn't have to come from school as far as your achievements in life. That doesn't determine whether or not you're successful or not. It determines whether or not how hard you work for the goal you're chasing, you know? And I want people to understand that too, is that you don't have to be super fucking intelligent, a rocket scientist to be successful in this world. You just have to put in the work. Right. But the putting the work in is now that's the challenge. You know, it's like, do you have what it takes to wake up every single day and put the work in? Right. Like, you know, like, are you able to wake up, you know, 6, 5, 4 in the morning to fucking go do what you have to do to build a brand, to build a name for yourself, to build a business, you know? Right. Be the last person there. You know, there's sometimes where I'm the last person here. You know, there's sometimes where, sometimes I'm always the first person here. I've turned on the lights when I come in here and I get to work, you know. Yeah. But I do that because I know that I'm going to be set up for the day. One of the things for me that's helped me is becoming organized and becoming structured and writing stuff down and like really knowing my goals for the day. Right. And so that way, whenever the day hits, I can attack it full force. I can be like, all right, we're doing this next. Boom, let me bring this out. I know where this is at. Boom, all this is over here. Okay, let's get to it. Like, that's just what what has helped me the most. And there's some people who can get to it a lot faster, but it's one of the things like that that I could really say. One of these motivational speakers that I listen to and that I kind of consider a mentor of my own. His name is Eric Thomas, also goes by E.T. Mm-hmm. One of the things that he says is you don't have to be the smartest, you don't have to be the strongest, you just have to get there before they do. In order to be able to pretty much make your goals happen, or get after your goals. And I find that to be so true because you just have to get there first. You just have to be the first person there. Yeah. You just have to be willing to be the hardest worker in that room.
You got to show up.
You got to show up, and and aside from everything, to add on to that, you have to produce. You have to just be that person that people are like, fuck, how is this guy doing it? Mm-hmm. How did he make this happen?
Right.
So I went from saying what I was going to do to just doing it. I went from saying all the stuff I was going to make happen to just making it happen. So that people could be like, where does this guy, where does he come from? What is he doing? Like, how is he doing that? Yeah. What is he doing? And it could be that, that people are asking, but it could also be like, why is all this good stuff happening for this guy? What's so good about him? Mm-hmm. It could be negative feedback too. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter, because what matters is knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing, and knowing the reason as to why I'm doing all this and where I'm taking myself. Right. And the endless possibilities that are there for me at the finish line. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm at right now, but of course there's levels as far as understanding everything, during business. There's a lot of things that I've learned, but I was actually having a conversation about this with somebody else the other day. People go to school to be psych majors, they to be counselors, therapists, stuff like that. And I respect that grind completely, because it's a grind in its own. You become a doctor, or, you help other people, mental health, stuff like that. But being in business, you learn a lot about mental health, so much, from your own and also other people. When you become in tune with yourself and you understand why you do the things you do, you got to figure yourself out first, right? Right. But you get more of an understanding of why people do what they do.
From a psychological standpoint.
From a psychological standpoint. Oh, she didn't say hi to me today. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not going to take that to heart. Maybe she's having a bad day. Right. Or if I know something that this person's going through, that's why they're acting like that. They're at this point in their journey of life. It makes sense as why they're doing this. Right. Or if I have a client snapping at me, she may be going through something at home. She may be fighting with her husband. Right. She may be going through something at work. And you can't take anything to heart. You can't be like, you just drop it. Right. Because if you let that affect you, it's going to affect your day. It's going to affect your business and how you react to other people. It's going to get you in your head. Knowing about myself too, if I'm going through something, if I'm at a low point, I can't be expressing that on the external. I also can't. What's common is when someone's at a low point, they start getting anxiety that other people around them are talking about them, or that they're talking behind their back, or people are out to get them, or this person's doing something because this X, Y, and Z. Right. So to not fall into the negative energy, to not go towards that, but instead really think about the situation, understand where you are, do something that's going to better you at that time. Whether it's a meditation, whether it's a workout, whether it's something else. Right. Yeah.
And I've noticed that in myself even. So I had a really bad anxiety. And for years, people have been telling me, you should go talk to somebody. You should get help. You should get help. And I just put it off, and just avoided myself care. Myself care completely went out the window. And along with it went my fitness and my health as well. I started drinking more, started eating crap, just started eating whatever was in front of me, and just really lost a sense of who I was. And finally, I took somebody's advice and I went and sought help. And it was a counselor / therapist, and he helped me. I got on medication for anxiety. Just tremendously helped me out. And one thing that I learned in that experience or through counseling was you kind of have to motivate yourself. You have to find yourself again, as you mentioned. I wake up every day now and I have to tell myself, remind myself that I'm worthy and that I'm worthy to be loved, but I'm also worthy to love. And so with that, I started gaining a little bit of confidence, and then a little bit more confidence, and a little bit more confidence, and telling myself and reminding myself daily that I am good enough to be liked. I am good enough to be likable and to like others. And through that, it really did. It boosted my confidence, and I actually ended up telling myself, aside from that, was if people don't like me, that's their problem, because I know that I'm worthy. If people don't like me, that's their problem, because I know that I'm likable. And so it really helped me to boost my confidence and my worth again, my self-worth. And so anybody that's listening, if you've lost your self-worth or lost your confidence, that's what I would recommend you starting with, is just telling yourself that you're worthy to love, you're worthy to be loved, you're worthy to be liked, and you're worthy to like others. And through that, then telling yourself, if people don't like me, that's their problem. I'm pretty awesome. So if they don't like me or they don't love me, that's not a me problem. That's a them problem. And I've seen this quote, and I'm sure you have as well, that says, I'm not for everybody, but I'm for somebody. Yeah. Right. And so, with that, I just wanted to say, I greatly appreciate you saying that. And, one question I do have is, you mentioned you were scared at times to go all in, right? Yeah. Because you had gone all in, you purchased all this equipment, and you've done all these things, and started your own brand and your own training program. You're starting to go to gyms or trying to train at different gyms and starting your own home gyms a couple times. Yeah. And so when you were doing the masonry work, what really kept you motivated? How did your fitness suffer during that time? How did you stay motivated if you were still going to the gym and eating healthy and not going out with the guys and having drinks and things like that? What really kept you going? Yeah.
Well, at the time, I wasn't really ever a drinker. I didn't really, I guess go to that whenever I was down, but it was really the gym, but, and also I was in a relationship at that time, but, I did have the exercise equipment. So after I would get off, I would work out and, be completely depleted of all my electrolytes after sweating all day and eating shit food. I had 2 meals at that point, and it just really messed with my head with how my body was looking, and it just it was definitely tough. Home workouts are a lot different than the gym workouts. Look good, feel good is a thing for me. And if you're going to the gym, I want to be able to have a good fit on, a good outfit, or I want to be able to look somewhat decent. And then at that point, I'm just you done sweated all day. You're sunburned. You're just working out whatever you can find at that point. And, but I knew that the lockdown or whatever, it was temporary. Mm-hmm. And I knew also that at that point, the lockdown, I had completely not saying I couldn't go back, but I had stopped school with the knowledge that where I wanted to go in life, that wasn't going to help me at that point. Education wasn't. There was nothing that I had wanted more than to be in the route that I was in before COVID. And that I had already made the decision that I was going to stop at nothing, to make sure I got there. And I knew of people who were still in the game of fitness. They're doing online training and stuff like that. And I said, if they can do it, I can do it. Right. And I just didn't want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to just put it on the back burner, and I didn't want to just let it go, because if I let it go, then that was it. You know, if I just stopped, what was I going to say about myself?
Right.
Where was I going to go after? Like, I didn't have any other plans. You know, I think that's the main thing is, if you have, like, you shouldn't have another plan. You know, you shouldn't have a safety net. You should just drop that.
Go all in.
Go all in, you know. And just because I wasn't there at where I wanted to be at the time doesn't mean I wasn't going to get there. You know, I knew my worth, and I knew that all the time I was spending doing masonry work, and I had a lot of time to myself. Just because there's two other crew members, they spoke Spanish, and, like, you know, I'm not fluent in that, so, like, I wasn't speaking with them. I had a lot of time to myself to think, and I was like, man, when I get out of here, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna fucking go in on this. I'm gonna make sure I have a setup for whenever I get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You know, and that's what kept me motivated, because I was just like, not in a sense I was too good, but I was like, I worked too fucking hard to do and be where I was at that point. And that's just, I'm not saying that those guys don't work hard, because they work fucking hard. But from the book work, the connections, everything that I had built outside of there, like you said, I was worthy. I was worthy to be in the position that other people were in.
Right.
You know, and I just had enough self-belief in myself at that point to know that I was going to be okay. That I just had to just go. You know, I don't know. That's just, it's something internal that I would say, a belief in myself. A lot of that has been a lot of that has been God too. You know, as far as me being a believer, with just some sort of, like, feeling that, and sometimes I, like, you know, I say this sometimes, that sometimes I don't feel like it's even me. You know, I feel like there's a bunch of times that I would have just given up.
Right.
Like, I've broken down in tears, like, on the way home from college, you know, driving from, you know, UTSA to a bad part of town where, you know, I was living, and I'm just like, oh, man, I don't fucking belong here. I don't know. How am I going to get through this?
Right.
How am I going to level up?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, I always felt of not belonging. I always felt of not being like I was able to be a part of what everybody else is doing. But I also had, like, whether it was a voice, whether it's God, whatever, telling me that I had to keep going.
Right.
And pushing me and just saying, no, this is the plan. You're sticking to it. This is the only route you can take.
Yeah. Right.
And I've relied on that a lot, you know. But because when I say I relied on that a lot, it's because the support system was never there. You know, of course I had my mom always, you know, believing in me and stuff like that, but she knows what she knows. She doesn't know the whole business aspect of what I do,
right.
You know, she gets a sense of what it is, but she doesn't understand, like, it's do or die, like, out here. Like, you have to do what you have to do. You have to put in the hours you have to put in to be able to, you know, do what you do, you know? And people tell me all the time, like, you should take a vacation. You need a vacation. Why the fuck do I need a vacation for? You know, like, when I have so much shit that needs to go on over here, like, so much shit I haven't done yet, that I haven't locked in yet.
Right.
You know, I don't need a vacation. I need to go harder. Like, that's always been the thing. I can't tell a normal person that, because they're like, oh, he's crazy. Oh, he just whatever. You know, it's just like, I believe in, you know, what do you call it? Surrounding yourself with good people. I feel like, you know, you should be able to socialize and, you know, be around good energy and stuff like that. But, like, there should be no reason why I should feel my time is being wasted because I only have so much of it.
Right. True.
You know, if I'm going to have a social gathering, I'm going to get something out of it. I'm going to meet somebody. I'm going to talk to somebody who's going to teach me something. Or I'm going to develop some sort of connection with a potential client, with a potential business partner, with whoever it is. every opportunity, I make sure that I get something out of it.
Something valuable.
You know, and but that just comes with, you know, having like the business mindset or just like being involved in what I do. And but yeah, but that right there is like, that's a lot of what has kept me going along the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
It really is. So what would you tell people that may be listening, that maybe they want to start their fitness journey, or maybe they want to get into a business, or maybe they want to strive for their passion, right? And go all in, like you said. What would you tell them?
Well, if it's their passion, they're not going to have a problem, you know, but one of the quotes I've always liked or sayings is, you can't fake passion. You know, if you're in it for the money, it's going to run. You know, that's one thing I've noticed. If you're in it just to make a quick buck, it's going to run away from you. You know, and eventually people are going to figure you out.
Right.
You know, people are going to figure out your intentions. People are going to figure out who you are as a person.
Right.
So if they're going to do something, if they're going to go in on a business that they start, that they are passionate about, the passion has to be there. For sure. Because if it's not there, I've had so many people always say like, man, I love what you do, man. Like, you know, I kind of want to do the same thing. I want to be a personal trainer. You know what I'm saying? And it's just you know, that's cool, you know? But are you passionate about it? Is it something that you can do even on the days whenever you don't have anybody? When you have nobody wanting to work with you, when you have nobody hitting you up, when you have no money coming in, when it's Christmas time, when it's the down times of business, are you going to have the same passion? Right. Are you going to be able to go 100% on that day, just like you're willing to go 100% in today? Yep. Are you willing to learn the computer stuff? You already said school's too hard. You already said that the bookwork is too hard. Wait till you get to the business side of things. Wait till you having to start learning about legal shit. Wait till you have to start, you know, building a software, or like working with a software, or getting on a platform and making sure everybody else is on that platform. You know, understanding Instagram, understanding TikTok, all the other social medias. Like, are you gonna have what it takes? You know, and sometimes, you know, I see, but also I believe everybody has what it takes, right? But they have to be passionate about it. Yep. They have to be willing to do it. And they also have to be able to be willing to do whatever it takes, you know, because a lot of the times in where I'm at right now today is because I got pushed to do things that I wasn't ready for. You know, I got one of my first times when I was training in a commercial gym. I got thrown to do like a boot camp class, and had never done a boot camp class in my life, but I did it. Right. You know, I made it happen. I figured it out, and I just did my research. You know, every time I had a new client that was coming in with a problem that I had never worked with, I did my research. Yep. And I figured it out. Right. Anytime I had to do a presentation, of course, for school, I went all in on it, and I guess I overproduced. You know, like I overdid it. So a lot of it is, you know, like something that I've like I guess like a motto, or like something that I've developed is like becoming going from last minute man to man of the hour. Like eventually you're gonna be the man of the hour. Eventually you're gonna be the person everybody wants to fucking be. Like that's everybody good. Wants to be, everybody wants to be around, everybody wants to, you know, fuck with, like all that shit. You're gonna be at the top, right? But in order to get there, you have to be that last minute man. Fuck, we didn't have somebody show up today. You think you can fill the role? You think you could do the this video? Like, can you? We have Ken's 5 coming in today. Can you give a quick segment about what you do here at the gym so they can get an idea of the fitness aspect of this whole facility? For sure, yeah. Put me on. Yeah. Can you do this podcast with me tomorrow? For sure, let's do it. Yep. Can you meet with this person? Can you have this consultation with this high profile client. I need you to do it, Dom. I need you to secure this client for us. For sure. Throw me in there.
Yep.
Can you give this presentation, blah, blah, blah? Like, I'll do it. You know,
Never
whatever
turn
it
up an
is,
opportunity.
never turn down an opportunity. Because that opportunity, like, could have set you so much further.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could set you so much back if you miss it.
Right. It's true.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't take the opportunities that are given to you, somebody else is going to take them.
Very true.
Somebody else is ready.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not ready, they're going to do what it takes to get ready.
Correct. Yep.
And that's been a lot of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Some shit that like may sound unrealistic or impossible is fucking possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can do it.
All things are possible.
All things are possible, man.
Yeah. For sure. I know that's even something that I really contemplated with. So I've been wanting to do this podcast for about 4 years now. And something that I always contemplated was, I'm not going to be good enough. I'm not going to be this. I'm not going to be that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not in it to make money or anything like that. My whole entire goal was to just help other people, you know, help other people reach their goals, whatever that goal is. If they're going through a hard time in life, just helping them get over it and get past it and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And come out better on the other side, right? That's what we all want, is to be better than what we were before, the day before, the week before, the month before, whatever it is, right? We always want to be striving for more and being more. And so that's my whole reason for creating this podcast, is just helping others. But you are right. There's a lot of things that, you know, I'm still learning in the business side of things, of, you know, investing your money, investing your time, investing your energy, pouring your heart and your soul into all of this stuff. And for possibly a little return, right? But I mean, the way I look at it is, if we're helping one person today by having you on, Dom, if we're helping one person, that's all that matters to me, you know.
Exactly.
Just like you said, if you have one person come up to you and say, hey, you know, you look good, that's great and all right, but to hear, hey man, you really changed my life. I was about to, you know, I was borderline diabetic, or I was borderline obese, or, you know, I had a stroke or a heart attack or whatever. You potentially saved my life. You know, that's what matters. That's what means the most, I'm sure.
And I think, so there's two things actually. So you said, as long as I change one person's life, right? Like, I remember one of the other guys I would watch is Gary Vee, and, you know, I remember him saying in a video way back then, and he was just like, don't worry about the views. Don't worry about the count. You know, worry, like, even if it's 8 views, like, there could be one of those people from the 8 viewers can be a potential investor, could be a potential business partner, could be a potential client, could be whoever.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, you don't know who those 8 people are.
Right.
You know, they may see something in you that, you know, other people don't. You know, whatever it is. Another thing is, you know, one of the things that someone else told me the other day is that kind of like really made me like, I guess, appreciate the comment, you know, or appreciate what she said, was like, she said, I'm proud of you, Dom. Like, that's the biggest thing, you know. I did a lot of self-reflecting. I had a lot of time to myself. And when I say you have to going back to when I say you have to figure yourself out before anything, you have to figure out what your flaws are. You have to figure out who you are as a person. That's key, right? Because you have to figure out why you do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out a lot of the reason why you do the things you do and why you react the way you react. And a lot of it was, you know, growing up, my mom, like, the love was there. Mm-hmm. The love was obviously there. She did everything she could for me to make sure that I was safe. I had a roof over my head. I had, you know, decent clothes to wear, and, you know, I was always well taken care of. But more than anything, I wanted to make her happy. That was my biggest drive, right? Mm-hmm. And hardly, like, to never did she ever say, I'm proud of you. You know, and that really, like, that made me a lot of who I am today, because just wanting to hear that, like that would have changed up a lot of things for me,
Right.
But I use it positively now because it makes me work that much harder, because I was seeking that recognition. I was seeking that approval, and she didn't treat me different because I'm not saying she wasn't proud of me. I'm not saying that she didn't love me, because she did. She would never stop talking about me.
Right.
To her people, to her friends or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, just for her to be proud of me, that's the biggest drive. And it really made me work harder at everything that I did. Like, it made me want to be seen and get that, I don't know the correct term is, like gratification from her, or like, you didn't
approval.
like approval, that was a lot of that. And then even to this day, it's so much harder because, like I said, she doesn't understand like the whole business entrepreneurship. So like, the things that were so hard to do that I've done, she doesn't understand it. She just, she's happy that I'm okay, that I'm healthy.
Right.
But it would be nice if she did, she'd be like, man, you're fucking killing it.
Yeah,
you're doing awesome. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of you, Dominic. Like, that would be awesome. But just for even anybody to say that, like, it's so much different than, you're doing great, man. You look amazing. You look fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, thanks. But like, it just hits a little different, but that, I forgot what we were talking about that led into that, but that is, a lot of why I discovered of why I go so hard. Because I was never told that what I did was enough. I always felt like I had to do more. I always felt like there was more I had to do. I was never satisfied. I was never, and she would do the whole thing and it's just like, without her knowing, she would compare me to the other kids. Your friend knows this. He knows 3 languages. He knows he's getting all these good grades. Yeah. He's doing awesome in sports. Like, on multiple of my different friends, I'm like, fuck, man, am I ever going to be good enough? Am I ever going to be up to par to be your fucking son? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And she wouldn't, like, it wouldn't be like negative. It wouldn't get, like, I wouldn't be cussing or like,
right.
It would just be little talk. But that little talk made me change my mind. Like, it rewired some shit in there to make me go harder.
Oh, for sure.
And, I guess in Hispanic culture, or like just whatever, some of it is toxic when it's looked on from the outside, and as far as some like research has been done, and like people who are psychiatrists and stuff like that, as far as you not getting that approval, or you being compared by other kids, or this wasn't the case, but like if you hit your kid or something like that, it wasn't the case for me, but that's just more so like what my upbringing was.
Right.
It was just seeking that approval. And that, like I said, that made me a lot of who I am today.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing that I heard you say earlier was, you were working in the heat.
Yeah.
In the masonry job and installing pools. And one thing that kind of has always a lesson that I've learned along the way, right, is everything that you go through in life is preparing you for the future.
Yeah.
Right. So one thing I took away from that when you were talking about the heat and things like that, and then coming over to Davy's gym and there's no AC here, right? Yeah. From being in the extreme heat, Texas, it gets 104, 110 sometimes.
Yeah.
And being that hot and then coming into a gym that has no AC, it kind of prepared you for training in this kind of environment.
Yeah.
In a way.
Like my physical training?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. In the boxers that train here and things like that, like it really, working out in the heat like that just kind of prepared you, if you will, or paved your way to essentially be like, there's no AC. Kind of sucks. Yeah. But I've done this before, right?
Yeah.
I've been here before. I've been where there's no AC. I've been out in the heat, and I've trained in the heat, essentially. We're working in masonry and things like that. I've been in this environment before, and it's kind of cool, like how it kind of prepared you, if you will.
Oh yeah.
To train here and to be appreciative. And I know, and that's one thing that I've heard throughout, and that's really, that's why I really admire you. You're a great inspiration to a lot of people, not just myself.
Yeah.
You have no idea your worth, man. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've heard is like other people, right? Building other people up and training them, inspiring them, motivating them, and getting them going.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank you for that. I mean, you've been an inspiration to me. Even we haven't seen each other in 4 years, man. This is our first time seeing each other in 4 years, and just getting around you again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like iron sharpens iron. So shall others inspire others, right? And so we're sharpening each other, if you will. And you really sharpened me today, and kind of remotivated me. Kind of also let me know that what I'm doing is the right thing. That I'm heading down the right path. I
think what's been another big, huge, massive lesson is, and there's going to be a couple of things that are related to this, is like, you know, leaders eat last. You know, leaders eat last. Your team, your people, your community, you have to take care of them. You have to provide for them. Mm-hmm. Because those are the people who are going to represent you. Those are the people who are going to build you, who are going to put your name out there, and who are going to, you know, just help raise you up. You help them become successful, you become successful. Yeah. That's just what it is.
This is true.
And with me, that was training. With you, this is a podcast.
Right.
You're providing value, right? It has to be valuable. It has to be relatable to them. Right. You know, they have to be able to relate to it. And for me and what I do, like, I've worked with high profile people. I worked with people who are just middle class. You know, I've worked with lower class people who are just like barely getting by. I've had conversations with everybody. Mm-hmm. There is a lesson to be learned with everyone. There's one of the quotes I like is, I have friends with degrees, LLCs, and felonies. There's a lesson to be learned from every single one of them.
Yeah, that's good.
I know some of the top earners who have a felony. I know top earners who have a degree, who have just a high school degree. Mm-hmm. You know, I've learned from every single person, and there's no one that you can't learn from.
That's good.
And the more that you learn, the more that you can take and give back. The more that you can give back to people, that's going to be the best solution for you as far as the direction you want to go. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've learned. Yeah.
That's awesome. So for our listeners, how can they get a hold of you? Do you offer any kind of virtual trainings? Do you do all that? Tell us about your merchandise, et cetera. How can they reach you?
Yeah. So, mainly my personal Instagram, Dominic Acuna Fitness. I also have a link in there that has all my other links. It's a solo link, and it's pretty much like a link tree. You can go see my training page. You can see my apparel website. You can get my booking information. But pretty much I do everything, you know. I do the training one-on-one. I do boot camps. I do not virtual training yet, but I do online training. I do like your workout program, nutrition guidance, weekly check-ins, all that stuff. And I also have my apparel that I have dedicated and fearless. Also, like I said, my booking link is on there if you want to book a session or if you want to get in contact with me. It's all there, man. But or also just send me a direct message. That works too.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Dom, thank you so much for your time. For anybody listening, if you wanted to hit Dom up, as he said, he creates his own merch. And when I arrived today at Davy's gym, a really interesting thing is he actually has his own shirts, and he actually prints his own shirts, which is another amazing thing, just another venture of entrepreneurship that he's done. And so, Dom, just thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it.
For sure.
Again, look at you as a friend, but also a brother, man. So thank you so much for coming on today. Take care.
Of course. Yes. Thank you.